Hello Internet! So I'm making this video to show you the new features in 1.0.6 and 1.0.7, the beta version of Advanced Themer. So let's just jump in the first one. In the previous release that we released the previous week, we just added a couple of new features, and the other one are bug fixes. So the first one is we added a tooltip including the values of the Advanced Themer variables. When you open the variable picker, let's just do that right now. Let's just open the variable here, and if you hover on any variable of Advanced Themer, you will see a pop-up showing on the top of the variable with the minimum and the maximum value you set on the back end. So if you don't remember which value corresponds to which variable, you can just have this tooltip that help you to choose the right value for you in your design. Small announcement, but really useful. And thanks from the guys to the guys from the Facebook group that came up with the idea. There are a couple of others that come from the Facebook. If you are not in the Facebook group, I strongly suggest you to join us, because it's super active and super cool. So join us in the Facebook group, and there you see the progress of Advanced Themer, of course. The second one, of course, this one, the first, both features in 106, they don't need to be activated in the backend. They are just default features that you just find when you activate the variable picker. And the second one, this one, the move the color palette selector on top of the pop-up, is just by default as well. So what do I mean? What I mean when I speak of this is when you go, for example, if you go in the background and open the grid, now you will see the selector, the color palette selector on the top of the grid, and that consent you if you have many palettes that they are not hidden on the bottom of the page, which was a bit a nightmare to select, and it just makes more sense to have them on the top. The first thing you want to do when you are selecting colors is select your palette, right? And then you play with the colors. So these are the both announcement on 1.06. The other one are bug fixes. Let's just quickly overview them. Fix the grid and import the class on Frontend. There was a bug due to 1.0.5 changes that make stop working the classes on the Frontend. This has been fixed. Another issue was the OpenAI API was not saving in the backend. When you click save, it just restarted, and there was no way to resave your OpenAI API key. This was due to a conflict with the encryption method. So, as you know, when you save your API key, it's saved as encrypted on the database, and this was not working correctly. This has been fixed. Variables not showing inside the advanced CSS. So if you open the advanced CSS panel, we have here a tab CSS variables. These one were not showing correctly, so this has been fixed too. As you can see here, the tooltip apply also on the CSS variables tab, not only on the variable picker. Okay. The import style from element ID function not working. So if you not sure if everyone realized that you can export the style to a class with this small feature. It's a builder trigger you can enable in the backend, But if you are already on a class, let's say this quick test, the icon changed and it became import styles from the ID level element. So if you have a class selected, you can import the style from the element to that class. And this function wasn't working correctly, and this has been fixed as well. If you click on it, you will have a confirm. It's a two-step function. So first you click and you have to confirm to actively export the style to the class, so you avoid to mess up with the styles. You have to confirm you really want to import this style from the element. Okay, let's just get rid of this class for now. And the class preview on over stopped working. So the class preview is when you over the class here in the drop down, you have a preview on your screen. This was not working correctly, and this has been fixed. Okay, let's jump on the new release 107, and we have a couple of new features here. Some are really interesting. So the first one, the new right sidebar shortcuts. It's referring to this new sidebar on the right, where you can see some of the most used elements of Bricks. So the section, container, block. We have the heading, the basic text, rich text, and the list go on. This sidebar has been activated when we go in the back end, builder tweaks, and you see now we have a new item here. Enable shortcuts for creating new elements. Okay, if you enable it, you will see on the bottom here element shortcuts, and you can select which element you want to insert in your right sidebar. Once it's activated, you will see a new right sidebar here, and let's just test it for the sake of it. If we click on heading, and we have a new heading added on our panel. If we want to add a block, let's say, and inside the block a basic text, it's just super easy. You don't have to click on elements, filter for basic text, I don't know, and select your structure, open it. Just really easy to add elements. The most used one when you're building inside your structure list. Okay. This is the first one. The second one, the resizable structure panel. This was another feature requested in the Facebook group. So just like the left panel can resize on the left, if you hover on this slight border you see on the right, the same now applies on the right here. If you hover, you will see a slight border. I hope you see it on the video, and you can just drag it and resize your structure panel as you wish. Really easy. The BricksLabs integration is a new feature as well in 107. If we go on the back end and go in the extras tab, you will see now the resources that was before, but the new one, which is BricksLabs. If you enable it, you will see a new tab on the left that say the BricksLabs feed is activated on the builder. What it means? It means that if you go back to the builder and see on the top bar on the right a new icon called BricksLabs. Let's just open it. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. See, yeah. And you see now a new model here. And in this model, let me get rid of this and let's just search. You will see the new articles, the top 10 articles recently published from the BricksLabs. You see the date, the author, and of course the excerpt. So if you click on read more, you have a quick access on the article created on BricksLabs. Let's just get rid of it. Of course, you can also filter them. So if you are looking for something specific, let's say JSAP articles, just click search, and it will make a search on BricksLabs and return the corresponding articles. Okay, see, this can be useful if you rely heavily on BricksLabs and tutorials. When you face any issues in BricksLabs, you don't have to leave, create a new tab, search for BricksLabs, search for the article. You just have everything inside the builder and ease of use. Okay, performance enhancement on Frontend. So this is not something you see on the screen, but the code has been restructured in this way. Before, when you navigated on Frontend, all the variables which are repeaters were called from the database, and we have a lot of repeaters, of course. And so on each page reload, these values were called from the database, and there were some heavy function on server side that was running to calculate and create the clamp functions and enqueue styles correctly, and all these function had no really real impact on the metrics. But it on the front-end metrics, if you check the results on the page score, it's not significant. But your server is running a lot when you do all this process. So the logic in 107 has changed slightly. So now all the heavy work is happening when you save the theme settings or the color palette. When you save it, all the scripts are generated, and it will generate your CSS and save it inside one row inside your database. Doing that, when you are in front end, Advanced Themer will just make one call to your database and just import your already generated CSS. So it doesn't have to make any calculation, it doesn't have to make multiple calls to your database, it doesn't have to loop inside your repeaters. It's just already done for you, and it just has to import. So it's just on the performance level, it's just a non-event for WordPress. Make a single call to your database and import a string content. It's just nothing. I think it will be 0.0000 milliseconds of your server, something like that. So just insignificant. So it should have a minimal impact on the front end, but your server will probably thank us for this new feature. Okay, let's come back to the list, and the last announcement is escape key. Now close the model. So if we open, let's say, the resource panel, and we just click click ESC. So type ESC, of course, on the keyboard. You can't see it, but if we do that, it just close any models with the ESC, with the escape key. A few words on the bug fixes. So the fix disable pin icon on element list feature. So this feature is when you hover on the element list. When this feature is enabled, you can't see the pin icon. This was not working correctly in the last update, so this has been fixed. However, when deactivated the Advanced Themer license, so this was a really common error. A lot of users shared. So if you go in the license tab, and some user when trying to deactivate the license, the page reloaded, but the license was not deleted, and for them there was no way to reactivate another license, for example. So this has been fixed. And another one, just since I'm already here, if you inspect the code, let's go here. Before, in the value, in the input value, you could see the API, the license key showing. Now, some user asked in the support to be able to hide the license key. Maybe if you put your license on a client and you're afraid that this client can take your license and use it in other places and do a bad job with it. Now it's just hidden. Okay, small feature, but it's always useful. ACSS variable blocked by the server. So this error was for a few users that reported, but on some server specs, the JSON, which includes the variables of ACSS, was blocked on the server side. So it was not really a problem of related directly to Advanced Themer, but we find a workaround in this case to access the JSON and display the variables of ACSS in the variable picker. So this should fix the issue. Wrong active state on pseudo elements. So just to make it clear, the error was if you click on the over state, and you see now it's active. The little arrow is active. Now if I browse my element, before the arrow was still active, but we are not anymore in an over state, right? So it could create confusion. So now the active state should be more persistent based on the element where it's activated. So if we come back and we click on over, this is the over state, right? And if we change element, it's just disabled. So this is a fix. Extend class and style not working correctly. So we had some issue with the extend class and style feature here that were not working exactly as intended on some configuration. This has been, it created some console log errors in some configuration. So this has been fixed as well. A couple of things of the exporting style and class. So still the same. Sorry, the export class is this one. There are a couple of errors when you had CSS inside your element and you use root, right? And you made some property like color red. When exporting this to a class, the root maintained the reference to the ID of the element and was not transferred to the class. So this has been fixed when exporting this element. And also a little fix that since the CSS classes and CSS ID are inside the style tab, this was also exported to the class settings, which make really no sense. So now when you're exporting your styles to a class, the CSS classes applied to the elements just aren't deleted and aren't exported. So you keep them on the element level and they are not exported to the class. And finally, the resource panel, this one was not working correctly due to the 105 update, and this has been fixed as well. So it's everything for now. If you have any comments or suggestion for the future of Advanced Themer, let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye guys. Bye bye.